HOA Karen kicked the little girl hard in front of everyone at the park. The young mother fell to the ground while her daughter screamed in terror and crying. The bully thought she had won. But she didn't know the quiet victim was a trained fighter. What happened next made the entire neighborhood gasp. Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. I never thought moving to a quiet neighborhood would turn my life upside down. My name is Maya, and I'm just a regular 25-year-old woman trying to start fresh after losing everything. My husband died in a car accident 6 months ago, leaving me alone with our 5-year-old daughter, Lily. The day we moved into Maple Street, I was exhausted. The boxes seemed endless, and Lily kept asking when we could go to the park. I promised her we'd go soon, once we unpacked the important stuff. "Mommy, look. There's a girl my age next door." Lily pointed excitedly at a little blonde girl playing in the yard beside ours. I smiled, feeling a tiny bit of hope. Maybe this place wouldn't be so lonely after all. That's when I first saw her. Karen Henderson. She was standing on her perfectly manicured lawn, wearing a crisp white pantsuit and holding a clipboard like it was a weapon. Her eyes were cold, scanning our moving truck like we were bringing disease into her precious neighborhood. "Excuse me," she called out, marching toward me with quick, angry steps. "You can't park that truck here. It's blocking the view of my flower garden." I looked at the truck. It was parked in my own driveway, not even close to her property. "I'm sorry, but this is my driveway," I said politely, trying to keep my voice calm. Lily was watching, and I didn't want to scare her. Karen's face turned red. "I don't care whose driveway it is. I'm the HOA president, and I make the rules here. Move it. Now." My hands started shaking, but not from fear. From anger. I'd dealt with bullies before, but this woman was something else. "Ma'am, I just lost my husband. I'm trying to move into my new home with my daughter. Please, just give me a break today." Karen looked at Lily, and for a moment, I thought she might show some human decency. I was wrong. "That's not my problem," she said coldly. "And another thing, that kid better not make noise. I have important HOA meetings, and I won't tolerate screaming children." Lily's little face crumpled. She grabbed my hand tighter. Something inside me cracked, but I held it together. "We'll try to be quiet," I said through gritted teeth. Karen turned and walked away, her heels clicking on the pavement like gunshots. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about my husband. He would have known what to do. He always did. But he was gone, and I was alone. The next morning, I woke up to someone banging on my door. When I opened it, Karen was standing there with 2 other women, both looking at me like I was dirt on their shoes. "There's a violation," Karen announced, not even saying good morning. "Your trash cans are visible from the street. That's against HOA rules. You'll be fined $500. My mouth fell open. $500, for trash cans. "Rules are rules," she said with a smug smile. "And there's more. Your lawn needs to be exactly 2 inches tall. Yours is 2.5 inches. That's another $300 fine." I felt my blood boil. "Are you serious right now? I just moved in yesterday." "I don't care when you moved in. You signed the HOA agreement. Pay the fine by Friday, or it doubles." She turned to leave, but I couldn't let it go. "Why are you doing this?" I asked, my voice shaking. "What did I ever do to you?" Karen stopped and looked back at me. "You don't belong here. This is a nice neighborhood for nice families. We don't need your kind bringing down our property values." My kind. The words hit me like a punch to the stomach. I was a widow, trying to survive, trying to give my daughter a good life. And this woman saw me as trash. I closed the door and leaned against it, tears streaming down my face. Lily came running up, her little arms wrapping around my legs. "Mommy, why is that lady so mean?" I knelt down and hugged her tight. "Some people just are, baby. But we're going to be okay. I promise." But I didn't know if that was true. The harassment didn't stop. Every single day, Karen found something new to complain about. My car was parked 2 inches over the property line. My mailbox was the wrong shade of black. My garden gnome was tacky and unacceptable. The fines kept piling up. $800, $1,200, $2,000. I couldn't afford it. I was working 2 jobs just to keep the house and feed Lily. Every penny mattered. I tried to reason with Karen, tried to explain my situation, but she didn't care. She enjoyed watching me suffer. One day, I came home from work to find Lily crying on the front steps. "Baby, what's wrong?" I dropped my bag and ran to her. "Miss Karen yelled at me," she sobbed. "I was playing with my ball, and it rolled into her yard. She said I was trespassing and that she'd call the police if I ever did it again." My heart shattered. This woman had just threatened my 5-year-old daughter. That's when I made a decision. I couldn't let this continue. I had to stand up to Karen, no matter what it took. The next HOA meeting was on a Thursday night. I left Lily with my neighbor Mrs. Chen, a sweet old lady who actually treated us like human beings, and walked to the community center where the meeting was held. The room was full of people, all sitting in neat rows, all looking like they belonged to Karen's perfect little world. I sat in the back, my heart pounding. Karen stood at the front, reading off complaints and violations like she was announcing death sentences. When she got to my name, she smiled. "Maya Rodriguez, multiple violations, total fines now at $3,500. If payment is not received by Monday, we will begin foreclosure proceedings on her home." Gasps filled the room. Even some of Karen's loyal followers looked uncomfortable. I stood up, my legs shaking. "You can't do this. I'm a single mother. I'm doing my best." Karen's smile grew wider. "Then your best isn't good enough. Maybe you should have thought about that before moving here." The room was silent. Nobody stood up for me. Nobody said a word. I walked out, tears blinding me. I sat in my car in the parking lot and cried until I had nothing left. But then, something shifted inside me. The sadness turned into something else. Something harder, something angry. I remembered who I used to be before I became a wife and mother. Before I gave up everything to build a life with David. I used to fight. Not just with words. With my fists, with my body, with my mind. I was a trained mixed martial arts fighter. I'd competed nationally, won championships, broken bones and had bones broken. I'd walked away from all of it when I got pregnant with Lily because I wanted to be a good mother, a safe mother. But Karen had just declared war on the wrong woman. The next day, I didn't go to work. Instead, I went to my storage unit and dug through old boxes until I found what I was looking for. My old training gear, my gloves, my wraps, my medals. I stared at them for a long time, remembering the girl I used to be. Strong, fearless, unbreakable. I could be her again. Just for a little while. I found an old gym across town and paid for a month's membership. Every morning before work, I trained. I hit the bag until my knuckles bled through the wraps. I practiced my kicks until my legs screamed. I rolled on the mats with anyone willing to spar, remembering the techniques my coach had drilled into me years ago. It felt good. It felt right. But I wasn't training to fight Karen. I was training to fight for myself. For my daughter, for my right to exist in peace. 2 weeks later, Karen knocked on my door again. This time, she wasn't alone. She had a sheriff's deputy with her. "Maya Rodriguez, you are being evicted for non-payment of HOA dues and violations." You have 72 hours to vacate the premises. I stared at the paper in my hand, my vision blurring. You're taking my home. You did this to yourself, Karen said, that same smug smile on her face. Lily came to the door, holding her teddy bear. Mommy, what's happening? Karen looked down at her. You're going to be homeless, little girl. Maybe your mommy should have thought about you before breaking the rules. That's when it happened. I don't remember making the decision. One moment I was standing there, numb with shock. The next moment, my body moved on instinct. Karen raised her hand to point at Lily, her finger inches from my daughter's face. And I reacted. I grabbed her wrist, twisted it, and used her momentum to flip her over my hip. She landed hard on my front porch with a loud thud. The deputy jumped back, his hand going to his weapon. Ma'am, step back. But I wasn't attacking anyone. I was just standing there, breathing hard, staring down at Karen, who was sprawled on the ground, her eyes wide with shock. Don't you ever, I said, my voice low and dangerous, threaten my daughter again. Karen scrambled to her feet, her face purple with rage. You assaulted me. Deputy, arrest her. But the deputy was looking at me differently now. He'd seen what happened. He'd seen Karen reach toward Lily. He'd seen me defend my child. Ma'am, he said to Karen, I think we all need to calm down. Calm down. She attacked me. You were reaching toward her minor child in an aggressive manner, the deputy said carefully. From where I was standing, it looked like she was protecting her daughter. Karen's mouth opened and closed like a fish. That's not, I wasn't, you have to arrest her. The deputy looked at me. Did you intentionally harm Mrs. Henderson? No, sir, I said. She reached toward my daughter. I reacted to protect her. If I wanted to hurt Mrs. Henderson, she'd be hurt. I'm a trained fighter. What I did was use the minimum force necessary to remove the threat from my child. Karen's eyes went wide. You're a what? A trained fighter, I repeated. Mixed martial arts. National champion 3 years running. I stopped competing when I got pregnant, but I never forgot how. The deputy actually smiled a little. Mrs. Henderson, I suggest you step back and reconsider this eviction. I'll need to file a report about this incident, and I'm not sure it's going to look the way you want it to. Karen's face went from purple to white. She grabbed the eviction notice from my hand and stormed back to her car, shouting threats over her shoulder. The deputy handed me his card. If she bothers you again, call me. What she's doing isn't right. After he left, I closed the door and slid down to the floor. Lily crawled into my lap. Mommy, you were like a superhero, she whispered. I hugged her tight, tears streaming down my face. No, baby. I'm just a mom trying to protect you. But something had changed. Word spread fast in our little neighborhood. By the next day, everyone knew that the new girl had taken down Karen Henderson. People started talking to me. Not everyone, but enough. Mrs. Chen came over with cookies and told me she'd hated Karen for years. A man named Tom from 3 houses down said Karen had nearly bankrupted him with fines until he fought back legally. She's a bully, Tom said. But bullies back down when someone stands up to them. He helped me file a formal complaint with the HOA board. Turns out, Karen had been breaking all kinds of rules herself. She'd been collecting fines that didn't exist, pocketing money that should have gone to neighborhood improvements, and harassing residents who didn't fit her idea of perfect. An investigation was launched. I gave my testimony, along with dozens of other residents who'd been too afraid to speak up before. 3 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. The HOA board had voted unanimously to remove Karen Henderson as president. All fines she'd issued were being reviewed, and most were being dismissed as excessive or fraudulent. My fines were dropped completely. I stood in my kitchen, holding that letter, and for the first time in 6 months, I felt like I could breathe. But the story wasn't over yet. Karen didn't take her removal well. She showed up at my door one last time, but this time she wasn't angry. She was crying. "You destroyed my life," she sobbed. "I've been kicked out of the HOA. People hate me. My husband is talking about divorce." I stood in my doorway, watching this woman who tried to take everything from me, and I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No revenge. Just emptiness. "Why did you do it?" I asked. "Why did you target me?" Karen wiped her eyes. "Because you reminded me of someone. My daughter. That caught me off guard." "Your daughter?" "She married a man I didn't approve of. I told her she was making a mistake, that he wasn't good enough for our family. She cut me off. I haven't seen her or my granddaughter in 5 years." Karen's voice broke. "When I saw you, with your little girl, starting over, I was jealous. You had what I lost. So I tried to take it away from you." I stared at her, processing this. All that cruelty, all that pain, because this woman was broken and didn't know how to fix herself. "That doesn't make it okay," I said quietly. "I know," Karen whispered. "I know it doesn't." She started to leave, then turned back. "Your daughter. Lily. She reminds me of my granddaughter. Same age. Same smile. I missed so much, being stubborn and proud." "Then maybe you should call your daughter," I said. "Maybe you should apologize." Karen nodded slowly. "Maybe I should." She walked away, and I watched her go, this broken woman who tried to break me. A month later, I saw Karen at the grocery store. She was with a young woman and a little girl. The woman looked like an older version of Lily, and the little girl was laughing, holding Karen's hand. Karen saw me and walked over, the little girl skipping beside her. "Maya," she said quietly. "This is my daughter, Jennifer, and my granddaughter, Sophie." "It's nice to meet you," I said, meaning it. "I called her," Karen said. "After we talked. I apologized for everything. It took time, but she forgave me." Jennifer smiled. "Mom told me what she did to you. I'm so sorry." "It's okay," I said. "We all make mistakes. What matters is what we do after." Karen knelt down to Sophie's level. "Sophie, this is Miss Maya. She taught Grandma a very important lesson about being kind." Sophie looked up at me with big brown eyes. "Grandma says you're really strong." I smiled. "Strong enough to protect the people I love. Like a superhero?" "Something like that." 6 months passed. Lily started kindergarten and made friends with Sophie. Karen and I weren't friends exactly, but we were civil. She'd changed, softened somehow. She spent her days with her granddaughter, trying to make up for lost time. As for me, I went back to training regularly. Not to fight, but to remember who I was. Strong, capable, unbreakable. I also started teaching self-defense classes at the community center for women and girls. Lily even joined, practicing her kicks and punches with serious determination. "I want to be strong like you, Mommy," she said one day after class. I hugged her tight. "You already are, baby. You're the strongest person I know." One evening, I was sitting on my front porch, watching Lily play in the yard, when Tom walked over. "The neighborhood's different now," he said. "Better. Because of you." "I didn't do anything special," I replied. "You stood up," Tom said. "When everyone else was too scared, you stood up. That's everything." I thought about that for a long time after he left. Maybe he was right. Maybe standing up, even when you're terrified, even when you're broken, even when you feel like you have nothing left to give, maybe that's what makes the difference. A year after we moved to Maple Street, the neighborhood held a block party. It was Lily's idea. She wanted everyone to come together, to celebrate being neighbors and friends. Karen came with Jennifer and Sophie. Mrs. Chen brought her famous dumplings. Tom organized games for the kids. And I watched it all, this community that had almost destroyed me, now coming together in peace. Lily ran up to me, her face flushed with excitement. "Mommy, are you happy?" I picked her up and spun her around. "I'm so happy, baby. Because we have friends now. Because we have each other," I said. And that's all we ever really needed. As the sun set over Maple Street, I thought about everything we'd been through. The loss, the pain, the struggle, the fight. I thought about David, and how he'd be proud of us. How he'd love seeing Lily so happy, so confident, so strong. I thought about Karen, and how people can change when they finally face the consequences of their actions. How hurt people, but healing people can heal people too. And I thought about myself. The girl who'd lost everything but found herself again. The mother who'd fought for her daughter and won. The woman who'd been knocked down but never stayed down. Lily tugged on my sleeve. "Mommy, can Sophie sleep over tonight?" I looked over at Karen, who was watching her granddaughter with tears in her eyes. She saw me looking and smiled, a real smile this time, full of gratitude and regret and hope. "Sure, baby," I said to Lily. "Let's ask her mom and grandma." As we walked across the lawn, hand in hand, I realized something important. This wasn't just about revenge or justice or standing up to a bully. This was about finding home. Not a house, but a place where you belong. A place where you're accepted for who you are, scars and all. And sometimes, you have to fight for that home. Not with anger or violence, but with courage and truth and the simple refusal to be broken. I'd lost so much. My husband my old life my sense of safety. But I'd gained something too. Strength I didn't know I had. A daughter who saw me as a hero. A community that had learned, through pain, how to be better. Karen walked up to us, Sophie's hand in hers. "Would you like Sophie to spend the night?" "Please, Grandma." Sophie bounced excitedly. "If it's okay with Maya," Karen said, looking at me with humility I never thought I'd see from her. "It's more than okay," I said. The girls ran off together, laughing and planning their sleepover adventure. Karen stood beside me, both of us watching our daughters play. "Thank you," she said quietly. "For what?" "For not giving up. For showing me what real strength looks like, for giving me the chance to find my family again." I looked at this woman who tried to destroy my life and saw not a villain, but a broken person who'd finally started to heal. "We all deserve a second chance," I said. "Even when we don't think we do." Karen wiped her eyes. "I hope my granddaughter grows up to be like you. Strong. Brave. Forgiving." "I hope Lily grows up to be kind," I replied. "That's the real superpower." That night, after the party ended and the girls were asleep upstairs, I sat alone in my living room. The house was quiet, filled with the gentle sounds of children breathing and dreams forming. I pulled out my phone and looked at the last photo I had of David. He was smiling, holding baby Lily, looking at the camera with so much love it made my heart ache. "We did it," I whispered to his picture. "We made it." I like to think he heard me somehow. That wherever he was, he knew his girls were okay. More than okay. We were thriving. The next morning, I woke up to giggling. Lily and Sophie were making pancakes in the kitchen, flour everywhere, syrup on the counter, and the biggest smiles on their faces. "Mommy. We made breakfast," Lily announced proudly. The pancakes were burnt and lopsided and absolutely perfect. We ate together, the three of us, and I thought about how far we'd come. From that first day, with Karen screaming at us in the driveway, to this moment, peaceful and full of love. After breakfast, Jennifer came to pick up Sophie. She pulled me aside while the girls said goodbye. "My mom told me everything," she said. What she did to you. How you handled it. Thank you for giving her a chance to change. Everyone deserves that chance, I said. Not everyone takes it, Jennifer replied. She did because of you. You showed her a different way. After they left, I cleaned up the kitchen with Lily, listening to her chatter about her new best friend and all the adventures they'd have together. Mommy, she said suddenly. Do you think Daddy would be proud of us? The question hit me hard, but I smiled through the tears. I know he would be, baby. So proud. Because we're strong. Because we're kind, I said. Being strong is important, but being kind is what makes us heroes. Lily thought about that. Miss Karen learned to be kind. She did, I agreed. It's never too late to change. 2 years later, I was standing in the same driveway where this story began. But everything was different now. The neighborhood had a new HOA president, Tom, who actually cared about the community. The ridiculous fines were gone, replaced with reasonable guidelines that everyone helped create together. My self-defense classes had grown so much that I'd quit one of my jobs and turned teaching into my career. Women came from all over the city to learn from me, not just how to fight, but how to stand up for themselves. Karen volunteered at the community center now, helping organize events and mentor young mothers. She'd transformed from the neighborhood terror into someone people actually liked and respected. And Lily.my beautiful, strong, kind daughter. She was 7 now, confident and brave, already taking after her mother in all the ways that mattered. I got a text from Karen, "Thank you for changing my life. I'll never forget what you taught me." I smiled and replied, "Thank you for reminding me who I am." Because that's what this whole journey had been about. Not revenge. Not punishment. Not even justice, really. It was about remembering that we're all stronger than we think. That we can survive anything. That even in our darkest moments, when everything seems lost, we have the power to stand up and fight for what matters. I'd lost my husband, but I'd found myself. I'd faced a bully, but I'd gained a community. I'd been knocked down, but I'd gotten back up stronger than before. As I watched Lily play in the yard, laughing with her friends, I thought about all the mothers out there facing their own battles. The widows, the single parents, the women who feel alone and overwhelmed and scared. I wanted them to know what I learned: you are not weak. You are not helpless. You are not alone. Inside you is a fighter. Inside you is a warrior. Inside you is everything you need to survive and thrive and protect the people you love. All you have to do is remember. All you have to do is stand up. All you have to do is refuse to be broken. The rest will follow. 5 years later, I stood at a podium in front of hundreds of women. My self-defense organization had grown beyond anything I'd imagined. We'd opened centers in 12 cities, trained thousands of women, and changed countless lives. Lily sat in the front row, now 10 years old, wearing her junior instructor's shirt with pride. Next to her was Sophie, her best friend and training partner. And in the back, quietly watching with tears streaming down her face, was Karen. "I want to tell you a story," I said into the microphone. "About a woman who lost everything. About a bully who tried to take what little she had left. And about what happened when that woman remembered who she was." I told them everything. The grief, the harassment. The moment I stood up. The transformation that followed. "I'm not a hero," I said. "I'm just a mother who refused to let anyone hurt her daughter. I'm just a woman who remembered her strength when she needed it most." The room was silent, every woman hanging on my words. "You all have that strength inside you," I continued. "Maybe you've forgotten it. Maybe someone told you that you were weak. Maybe life knocked you down so many times you're afraid to get back up." I paused, looking at each face in the crowd. "But you're here. You showed up. You took the first step. And that makes you a fighter already." The applause was deafening. After the speech, Karen approached me. She looked older now, softer, her sharp edges worn away by time and regret and growth. "I'm proud of you," she said. "Look at everything you've built." "Look at everything we've built," I corrected. "You volunteer at 3 of our centers now. You've helped hundreds of women." "I'm trying to make up for what I did," Karen said. "You already have," I told her. "Now you're just doing good for the sake of doing good. That's the best kind of redemption." She hugged me, this woman who'd once been my enemy, now my friend. "Thank you," she whispered. "For not destroying me when you had the chance." "Thank you," I replied. "For showing me what real change looks like." That night, I tucked Lily into bed. She was getting too old for tucking in, but she still let me do it sometimes. "Mommy, do you think I'll be as strong as you someday?" she asked. I brushed her hair back from her face. "Baby, you're already stronger than I ever was." "How?" "Because you grew up knowing your strength. You never had to lose yourself to find yourself. You've always been whole." She thought about that. "Did you teach me that?" "You taught me," I said. "Every day, you teach me what real strength looks like. Kindness, forgiveness, love, those are the things that make us strong, not just our fists or our fighting skills." "I want to help people like you do," Lily said. "You will," I promised. "You already do." After she fell asleep, I stood in her doorway and watched her breathe. My miracle my strength my reason for everything. I thought about David, wherever he was, and hoped he could see what our daughter had become. What I had become. How we'd turn tragedy into triumph, pain into purpose. The journey from that first day on Maple Street to this moment had been long and hard. There were days I wanted to give up. Days the grief was so heavy I could barely move. Days I felt like I was drowning. But I kept going. For Lily, for myself. For every woman who'd ever been knocked down and told she wasn't strong enough to get back up. And in the end, that's what mattered. Not the revenge. Not the punishment. Not even the justice. What mattered was the choice to keep fighting. To keep standing. To keep believing that tomorrow could be better than today. Karen learned that too, in her own way. She'd been knocked down by her own pride and cruelty, and she'd made the choice to get back up different. Better. Kinder. We'd both been given second chances. We'd both taken them. And now, together, we were helping other women find their second chances too. As I closed Lily's door and walked downstairs, I passed the photo of David hanging in the hallway. I stopped and looked at it, really looked at it, for the first time in months. "We did good," I said to him. "Our girl is amazing. And I think I'm finally okay." I swear I felt him smile. In the living room, I turned on the TV and saw a news report about our organization. Women being interviewed, talking about how learning self-defense had changed their lives. How they felt safer, stronger, more confident. One woman said something that made me cry. "Maya taught me that being strong doesn't mean never falling down. It means always getting back up." That was it. That was the whole lesson. The whole point of everything we've been through. Life knocks us down. People hurt us. Tragedy strikes. Loss devastates. But we get back up. We dust ourselves off. We remember who we are. And we keep fighting. Not with anger or violence or revenge. But with courage, with kindness, with the simple refusal to let the world break us. That's what I learned on Maple Street, in a neighborhood that tried to destroy me but instead made me stronger. That's what Karen learned when she lost everything and had to rebuild herself from scratch. That's what every woman in my classes learns when she throws her first punch and realizes she's not helpless after all. We are not victims. We are survivors. We are fighters. We are warriors in our own right, each fighting our own battles, each carrying our own scars, each choosing every single day to be stronger than our circumstances. And when we stand together, when we lift each other up, when we refuse to let anyone, not bullies, not tragedy, not even ourselves, knock us down permanently. That's when we become truly unstoppable. That's when we change the world. One woman at a time. One fight at a time. One choice at a time. The choice to stand, the choice to fight, the choice to never, ever give up. That's my story. That's Karen's story. That's every woman's story who's ever been told she's not enough and proved them wrong. And it's not over. It's never over. Because tomorrow, another woman will face her bully. Another mother will protect her child. Another widow will find her strength. And when she does, I'll be there. Karen will be there. Lily will be there. Sophie will be there. All of us, standing together, showing her that she's not alone. That she's stronger than she knows. That she can survive anything. That she already has everything she needs inside her. All she has to do is remember. All she has to do is stand up. All she has to do is fight. The rest will follow. Just like it did for me, that day on Maple Street, when a HOA Karen knocked down the new girl. Not knowing she was a trained fighter. Not knowing she was about to change everything. Not knowing that sometimes, the people you try to break are the ones who end up breaking you, not with violence, but with the simple power of refusing to be broken. That's my happy ending. Not perfect, but real. Not without pain, but full of growth. Not without loss, but rich with love. And as I turned off the TV and headed to bed, passing Lily's room one more time, hearing her gentle breathing, feeling the peace of a home hard-won and well-kept, I smiled. Because I knew, no matter what tomorrow brought, we'd be okay. We'd faced the worst and survived. We'd been knocked down and gotten back up. We'd learned to fight, and we'd learned when to forgive. We'd found our strength, and we'd shared it with the world. And that made everything, every tear, every struggle, every moment of doubt, absolutely worth it. The end. But also, just the beginning. Because every day is a new fight. Every day is a new choice. Every day is a new chance to be strong, to be kind, to be everything we were meant to be. And I choose to fight. I choose to stand. I choose to never give up. Every single day. For Lily, for myself. For every woman who needs to know she's not alone. That's my promise. That's my purpose. That's my story. And it's far from over.